Hey there, it's Crystal Lopez from crystalandcomp.com, and today I'm going to show you how to take all of these ingredients and we're going to turn it into something that I've been making for my family for almost 20 years. It's called candy chicken. We serve it over rice with the broth. It is absolutely delicious. Throw a green vegetable with it like a salad or some broccoli, and you have a delicious dinner. Let me show you how to make this. So our 24-year-old son was in town with his fiance, and while he was here, he said, "Hey, can you make candy chicken?" Because I made it often when they were little. Again, proving that this was a favorite of theirs from their childhood. Unbeknownst to him, I had just been, when I was in town in DFW, like 2 weeks before or a week before, welcoming our sixth grandbaby. Our 26-year-old, so his older brother, had asked for this meal as well as one of their freezer meals, right? So, of course, I said, absolutely, I can make this. So they were leaving this day later in the evening, but this was early in the morning, and I got up before we went to church, and I put it on in the slow cooker so that by the time, we could have an early dinner before they got on the road, and he could have some of this. So you're going to use, you can find this full recipe in the printable version over on my blog, crystalandcomp.com. And just search for the word candy chicken. It will come up. I'm using thighs, boneless, skinless. You can use breasts. I've used chicken breasts many, many times, but I will tell you, I've gone back and forth. There were times where I loved doing breasts, utilizing breasts more. I really like this recipe best with thighs. Now, if you're on a strict budget, you can absolutely buy thighs with the skin on and bone in, and you can either debone them and deskin them yourself, or you can cook them all with the bone and the skin. It's just going to make your sauce a little fattier because the skin is going to create some fat while it's cooking. You could also use drums. This will work for chicken drums, thighs, or breasts. It doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to use fresh garlic because I had some on hand. For years, I always use the jarred stuff. It doesn't matter. Use what you have. And we like it more garlicky, so I'm going to take these 3 pretty big size, that might even be 4, garlic cloves, and we're going to chop them up really good. And that's what we're going to use this as part of our marinade. So I am using that super cool silicone device. You just put your garlic clove in there and roll it, and it takes the skin right off. It peels right off. So much easier than fighting with it. I get so tired of fighting with the garlic. But again, you could absolutely use jarred garlic or garlic paste, or if you don't have any of that but you have garlic powder, use that. It doesn't matter. Any of the above are fine. All right, we are going to dice that right up. I just kind of cut it. You can do them 1 clove at a time, or you can kind of line them up like I'm doing here. Just be very careful. I'm slicing it into these coin-sized pieces, and then I'm just going to take them all and kind of bunch them together and just chop, chop, chop until it's fine little pieces. So let me ask you, do you have a favorite knife? This one is one of my favorites. It's a Cutco. We have 2 other Cutco knives that we've had for probably 15 years that are such good knives. And then this one I actually bought at Costco, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Sometimes periodically, maybe once a year, Cutco will set up at Costco and you get a good deal. That is such a good knife. And then the other knife that I love is one, you see me using it. It's like, I don't know. I think it's considered a cleaver style. That could be wrong. That could be completely wrong. I don't know knife names, so don't hold me to that. But it's the really big, it's the one where it's the black blade and the black handle. And he works on a lot of equipment at different restaurants and homes, commercial and residential. But one of the restaurants gave it to him, gosh, probably 3 years ago. And for the longest time, I didn't want to use it. And then once I did, it cuts like butter. It is such a good knife. But those 2 knives seem to be my most favorite. Okay, I just wonder, do you have a favorite knife? So you're going to see me adding, I put the garlic in here, and now I'm putting in the powdered sugar. Again, get all of the measurements over at crystalandcomp.com. Search the words candy chicken, or just look for the link down in the description below. You're adding brown sugar. This is a lot of sugar. You're not wrong. But I'm here to tell you it is such good flavor, and you're not making this every week. You're not making this every day. This is a treat. But it really, I know that sweet meat is not for everybody, and this is not even overly sweet, in my opinion. But if you like meat that's kind of got a sugary side to it, this is really, really good. Now, you also are supposed to use Sprite or 7-Up, a lemon lime soda. All I had was that sparkling water lime drink that is carbonated. That's what I had on hand. Lenny had picked some of those up at H-E-B recently. And when Anthony saw that, he was like, well, this is not going to be as sweet now. And I'm like, it's fine. All of this powder or all of this brown sugar is in here. It's totally fine. It's the carbonation and the lime that does something to, I think the lime is for flavor, and then the carbonation probably helps to tenderize the meat a little bit. If you did not have lemon lime soda, don't feel like you can't make this just because you don't have it. Put some lime juice in there. Although I do think that the carbonation serves a purpose, like I said, but the lime is also part of the flavor. So you could totally put some lime juice in. All right. Now you also add soy sauce. I typically don't have soy sauce on hand, but I have coconut aminos. So you're just going to put some of that in there, and this gives it some salt, as well as it adds color to the chicken, and it gives some additional flavor. You don't have to use coconut aminos if you don't want to. Luke Henry always says that he can tell when I use coconut aminos. He thinks it tastes different. I don't see any difference at all. That bottle is huge, and I have used it to make countless pots of fried rice using whatever leftover meat I have. I've used it to make homemade beef and broccoli. I have used it to marinate meats, and now I'm using it in this. I really like coconut aminos, and they're better for you based on the things that I've read, but soy sauce or the coconut aminos, either one will work. All right. You saw me also add vinegar. I don't really know what vinegar does, but it does something to, I don't know. I would have to Google it actually, what the vinegar does in combination with these other ingredients, but it's something that the original recipe had it years ago when I found this original recipe, and I've never not put the vinegar in it. So you're going to put it all into a big mixing bowl like this and just whisk it up. And it's truly that simple. So all of that is going to go over this chicken, and it's going to cook all day in the slow cooker with that marinade. And then when we go to serve this, it's going to create some of its own juices while it's cooking, plus the marinade that we're going to put over it. And then we're going to ladle that broth. It basically makes this delicious broth. We're going to ladle some of that over I like to serve this over a bed of rice, and then I ladle some of the broth over the rice and the chicken, and it is so, so good. So I'm just putting all of these boneless, skinless chicken thighs in here. I'm not concerned that they're overlapping each other. They're all going to cook. It's going to be totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's going to be completely fine. And as you can see, I'm going to fill this full of chicken thighs. So that's what, about 16 thighs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, roughly 16. And this chicken is going to kind of fall apart as it's cooking low and slow in the slow cooker. Actually, we're going to cook it on high, but it's still a slow cooking process, and it just falls apart. And then you're going to see at the end of this video how I save the leftovers and I shred it up and I serve it a few nights later. And like, this made a bunch, and it is so easy to take the leftovers, and I could even reinvent them into something else and make a casserole using that brown sugar flavored chicken. You know, make a casserole, add it to a soup, add it to a pasta dish, or we just added it to rice again. But here you go. All of our thighs are in there, and then we're going to pour that marinade on top. All right, I'm washing my hands in between here and cleaning off the counter, but you guys don't need to see all that. Anyway, all right, just make sure this is all stirred well and well combined, and that all of that sugar is well dissolved and all mixed up in the coconut aminos or soy sauce and the other ingredients. And you're just going to dump it on top. That's simple. Then we're going to put a lid on it. And I cooked it on high for 6 hours. You could cook it on low for 8 hours. I mean, you know, it really, you're just cooking it until the chicken is completely done. You can choose if you do it on high or low. I really feel like the best results come from the chicken already being thawed. You could put frozen chicken in here and do it with frozen chicken, but I would cook it on low. I feel like frozen chicken, if you cook it too high too fast, it gets weird. But there you go. Look at all that beautiful garlic. Oh my goodness. So this is before I put the lid on it. We're kind of backtracking for a second. And don't worry, I wiped off my dirty slow cooker. I love this one. It is a Joanna Gaines one, Hearth and Home or whatever from Target. But it's white and it gets so dirty. And I have to like make a deliberate intention to remember to wipe it down consistently. So there it is when it's all done. The chicken's fallen apart. That broth is incredible. It smells so good. I made some jasmine rice in the Instant Pot. That is my favorite way to make it. You do equal parts. If you're using jasmine rice, you do equal parts water and equal parts rice. Then I also made some peas just from a can, and I had a little bit of broccoli left from a dinner, I don't know, 3 or 4 days before that. And I heated that up or roasted it in the oven as well. So now that was a delicious dinner. Fast forward a few nights later, I served up the leftovers, and I just took, at this point the chicken had all fallen apart. It had been stored in the fridge. I just took it and put it into a pan. I made sure that I had all of those juices in there as well, because we don't want this to dry out. We want it to cook in the juices again. I heated up a couple of cans of green beans. I made another pot of rice. I had cherries that I had bought on sale for like $2.47 or $2.97 a pound at H-E-B. I wanted to use some of those up. And then I had one more package of that Cheesecake Factory bread in the freezer that I had bought on clearance, and I heated it up from the frozen state, just put it into the oven and let it heat up. And that was our dinner. My grandkids and Kelsey came by for a few minutes, and they ended up making themselves a plate as well. It was so good. That stuff just went so far. It really is a great meal that stretches, and it's great served a few days later as leftovers. And I feel like the chicken just gets even more flavorful and more delicious. All right, guys, there you have it. Candy chicken, family favorite. You can also do it as a freezer meal. If you want to do that, go back and watch our other video from a couple of weeks ago where I showed you how to make 8 freezer meals for under $100 at Aldi. And go watch that and get some more dinner ideas and see how to make this as a freezer meal. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out and for watching this. I truly appreciate it. I hope that you will take a moment to like and subscribe, because I want you to see all the videos if you find them helpful. All right, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.